Let's do it. Lauren, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on Spark TV. Let's get started by telling everybody how you got to actually running and creating LMF marketing.
Sure thing. Well, look, thank you for having me, firstly. Very excited to be on Spark TV. And it was an interesting journey, actually. So I always knew that I wanted to work for myself. I just never knew what the business was going to be or when or how or any of that, but I hated working for other people.
Me too.
And I was actually living in Melbourne with my partner at the time, and we both wanted to keep traveling the world because we were big travelers. And neither of us were digging our corporate jobs in marketing in Melbourne. And he pretty much gave me the push. I was still a bit like, oh, I don't know if I've got enough savings, like, oh, I don't know if I've got enough experience. Like, there was a lot of uncertainty on my end, and he was pretty much like, come on, like, we want to travel, you've got this, you can do it. And he kind of actually pushed me in.
Like that sometimes, yes.
Yeah, it definitely felt like that, working with partners.
Yep.
And so we got the company set up, and that was, I'm sure that was 2018.
Amazing.
In Melbourne, and managed to poach clients straight off the bat, which was great. And it was originally called Porcupine Digital. That was the first name of the business.
Yep.
Yes, you say it's cute. I loathed it.
Oh, really?
I loathed it so much.
Oh,
no. But
I've got to say that all the time. It'd be like, hi, it's Lauren from Porcupine Digital.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, I just, working in partnership.
Yes. Sometimes you have to make compromises. Yes.
Yes. So that was how it started. But then quite quickly we realized I had, I guess, the drive and the passion, and worked really well autonomously, working for ourselves. He missed the team environment. He missed, I guess, maybe more the corporate style. It just wasn't quite suited to what he wanted.
Yeah.
So it didn't take long for us to decide that you back out of it, buddy, and let me take over.
Take the reins and change the name.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones, because I mean, as you know, you have to feel that connection to your business and your brand. And I didn't, I didn't like telling people about it. I didn't like marketing it. And LMF marketing just was easy. It was me. I took ownership. It was an interesting first year of business, going through that journey with my partner. But once I, took it on as my own baby, that's, I guess, when the magic started happening, which was really cool.
That's amazing. I love that. So it's good. It's really funny that he was the one to kind of go, let's do it, let's make this leap, but then was the one that was like, oh no, I don't actually want to make this leap. And I think that that's really interesting. I don't think people realize what running a business is like. You don't have that team, you don't have the big office, you don't have the marketing budgets, you're kind of wearing all the hats. It's really hard.
Yeah, no, it is. It really is. And especially, I think that whole digital nomad lifestyle is so, what's the word, like glamorized, like how fantastic and easy it is. And, me and my partner, we take beautiful photos and travel the world, and like,
in bikini bodies as well, with our bikinis.
But it was like, because we then started traveling. We went through Europe for 6 months with the business.
Oh, cool.
But we, it was tough. Like, we were sitting in train stations, like on the floor waiting for trains, doing work. Like, it was not glamorous with the time zone differences and all those things. But for me, I was like, oh, hang on, like, we're doing some good work, and I love being my own boss, and actually I could really do something with this. Whereas, he did love many of those aspects, but was also like, oh, I just I would prefer to travel and not have to do all this. And yeah, I'd prefer working with more people in a different environment instead of you and your partner 24/7 together.
Yeah. Oh my God. On a train station floor.
Yeah, not the cleanest place to be working.
So fast forward to today, what does LMF marketing do, and services you offer, clients you serve, what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's evolved really nicely, and so we're now working with predominantly established businesses in the health, wellness, lifestyle space. And in particular, like my passions are very much health, wellness. So I really resonate with those businesses and love working with them. And my goal was always to build an agency that had the skills of, a high-end agency, but felt like part of the team for businesses and was at a really, I guess, like approachable budget as well. We're not exorbitant pricing. We're for those, I guess small to medium but established businesses, family owned, lots of husband and wife teams, which is really lovely. And so we're servicing them across Google marketing, so your SEO and your Google ads, social marketing, both organic and paid, whether that's Facebook and Instagram ads, Pinterest, TikTok. So all of those kind of under the social umbrella, as well as email marketing, and then supporting them with strategy as well, and pretty much like their own marketing team, but we're just not actually in-house.
That's cool, but it's like that's what you want in an agency, I think, right? You want, like, the idea of outsourcing your marketing to an agency sounds like a good idea, but I know from experience that sometimes outsourcing it, you lose the passion, you lose that, them really understanding what your values are. So I love that you guys want to be part of the team and want them to feel like you're part of the team.
Because even when I was in corporate and, I was working for one of the biggest digital agencies in Australia, and I just saw it. The clients weren't receiving that, and they were kind of treated like just a number. They were just bringing in revenue. It didn't matter about the service or the connection or really about caring about how their business was growing. So I was like, oh, I hate this. I hate like working in this environment. It's all sales and KPIs, like here's the customer service.
Yes.
That's always been a value. So it's so nice to, 4 years down the track, really be in that position where we've got fantastic clients who some of them have been with us since the start 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And, when we catch up with them, they just, talk to us like, how is the business going? And, we get all the details and we care, and I want to know about what's going on. So it's really a nice place now.
Oh, I love that. So then from you, what does your role look like? So obviously you're the founder of the business. What's the difference been like from sitting on the floor in a train station through to today? Do you still do the same things, or has your role changed along the way as well?
Yeah, no, my role is always evolving. And it's been interesting because, since I started, when I first started, I was like, no, I don't want any other team members. I want it just to be me so I can have full control and make sure it's the best service ever and, fantastic results.
Yeah.
But then quite quickly I was like, okay, there's not enough hours in the day.
I need to sleep. Yeah.
Sleep and eat and actually earn a living.
Yes.
So then I realized, okay, I need to bring in teams. So I've got, half a dozen contractors who are amazing. And specialists in each of their fields. So I've really built them up and built up my systems. So I'm still the face of the business. I'm still the one connecting with clients, but I'm also the quality controller of what's going on and the work being done. But I don't do as much of the actual day-to-day campaign management now as what I did when I started out. And now I'm at that really interesting stage that I actually need to kind of remove myself from the day-to-day management to, as they say, step into that CEO role.
Yeah, wow.
But this is, I think it's that, every level in business has a new challenge.
Yes,
And
definitely. It does.
oh, it does. And at the moment, the challenge is now being okay with letting go of control.
Mm.
And that's, I'm coming up against it a lot. I've got a fantastic team member who I'm slowly handing over client communications to, that she's going to be dealing with them. And everyone does things differently, interprets things differently, and thinks creatively in different ways and strategically, etc. But if I'm going to be the CEO and keep growing the business, I have to be okay with people doing things differently to how I do.
Oh my God, it's so funny because this is the second time I've had this conversation today.
Oh,
It is really, really interesting. Like, I think that so many people start a business, they get this founder title, and as a founder, you wear all of the hats. You literally have to do everything: the sales, the delivery, the admin, the bookkeeping, like literally everything. And then you kind of have this slowly, okay, bring in specialists. And I think the move into the CEO role is huge, like empowering other people to run the operations of the business. And you're right, let go of the way you normally do things is really confronting.
Yeah, it's scary. It's really
Yeah.
scary.
And
Um,
I love the way that you've said, like, kind of small pieces, like hand over small pieces at a time. I think that's a really nice way to go about it, because it's kind of like, it's de-risks it as well, right? Like, let's be honest, we're all control freaks and we're startup founders. So letting go of little bits at a time is sometimes a really nice approach.
yeah, and I think also when it is your own business, and I am the face of it, but so I need the team that I'm building around me to really see that vision and share those values. And any new person coming into a role, it takes time to adjust to it. And ideally I could just hand over everything and it would be perfect, and I could just be like, oh, I finally get a proper holiday after 4
Yeah, I was
years.
just about to say, lie on a beach and have a margarita.
Oh, it's so overdue. But I feel like, my motto has always been, I want to grow sustainably.
Yeah.
Not that, which I feel like there's a very almost masculine approach to business of, grow fast, break things, figure it out on the way. And it's like,
Yes.
yeah, like I would actually prefer to grow sustainably. And like, I don't work weekends, and I haven't for a very long time now. It's like,
I love that so much.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just like I'm doing it in a real healthy way. So hopefully in 5 years, it is that, multi-million dollar business, but I'm not burnt out. I love the team around me, and
Yes.
there's that shared vision and values. So
Yeah, and I love the idea of, I don't work weekends, but I love Mondays because I love what I've built. I love the team. I love my customers. I love what we do.
exactly. And you can only, I think, appreciate your business when you take a break from it. Like anything, you need to have a little bit of distance to be like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to go back.
Definitely, definitely. And if you don't have that, if you are like working 12, 18-hour days, you're burnt out, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not exercising, it's so easy to get to that point where you resent it, I think.
Totally. And, it is a tough one because I think every business owner or, entrepreneur, whatever we call ourselves, but you almost have to go through that of you pour your heart into it. You try to do everything. You try to learn as much as you can. You buy all of the online courses and download all the freebies. But then you actually get to that point where you're like, oh, okay, this isn't sustainable. What do I really want my life to look like?
Yes.
Okay, how can I build the business to support it? But you kind of have to go through that, I know, trial by fire to be like, do you really want to do it?
Yeah.
Which is okay, because some people don't. Some people get to that point, they're like, actually, this isn't building the life I want. I would prefer to work for somewhere else, or, go back to corporate, and that's fine. But you don't know until you really go through the thick of it.
Oh, that's so true. And I mean, it's even like I say this about myself. I download all of the things, I buy all the courses, but unfortunately I don't learn unless I do it. And I'm like, damn it, I tried not to make the mistakes because I tried to learn from someone else, but sometimes you don't really know until you go through those experiences and that visceral like, wow, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, then if I really don't want to do this, how do I build my business so I never have to do that thing?
Exactly. And I still have a lot of like inquiry calls with startup businesses who are
Yeah.
very early stages, and they're talking to me like, oh, well, I'd love to outsource my organic social media management to you, and I just say to them like, no, don't do it. Like for where
Yeah.
you're at, you actually need to hustle for a bit. You need to put in that effort, do that groundwork, because not only is it gonna save you money because you're not outsourcing in those super early stages on things you don't actually need to necessarily be,
Yeah.
but you learn the value of them and you learn how much you value your time and where it should be focused in your business as well.
Yeah, it's actually super funny you say that. So in my other business, Scrunch, which so influencer marketing, so we're not an influencer agency anymore, but when we were an influencer marketing agency, what we love the most is people who had run influencer campaigns before because they know the pain. So they know exactly what they were outsourcing. They knew like the amount of work it was. They knew how much it wasn't their day to day. That was the best customer because it's like, okay, like you're going to value everything we do because we are taking all of that pain away from you. And I think if you outsource straight away, you're absolutely right. You waste a lot of money and you don't really understand all of the pieces of the puzzle. And I think sometimes too, you don't actually know what works for you because not every marketing strategy works for every business. You know, you really do have to test and optimize and kind of figure things out to know, yeah, that's the thing. It works really well. Now let's get someone that's awesome at it to keep going.
Exactly. And it's, kind of cutting through that noise as well, because I'm sure everyone sees it. You're scrolling through Facebook and there's some guru who's telling you the latest secrets to, achieve a 7-figure business or a, 6-figure launch. And it's just like, marketing is not that easy.
No, no. Oh my God. If sales and marketing was easy, everyone would be billionaires, right? It's ridiculous. I love it.
But it's so just frustrating because then you do talk to people and they're like, oh, well, can't you do that? It's like, well, no. And they're like, can't you guarantee this? It's like, no. And I always say if an agency is guaranteeing something, think twice, because
Totally.
you've either got to be ticking a hell of a lot of, boxes, in which case pretty much anyone could probably achieve those results for you.
Yeah.
Or they're going to be shaping it to suit them so they can achieve the guarantee.
Or you are just paying through the nose, or you are just wasting a lot of money to achieve said results.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Well, so, and you've mentioned a couple of times as we've talked about transitioning into this new role about you being the face of the brand. And it's interesting because as we've been going through the latest Spark 12-week program, a lot of people have been like, I don't want to be the person. I don't want to be on stories. So what's your thought about a founder of the business kind of showing up as the face of the brand? How important do you think it is? Do you think that it's necessary, unnecessary, helps? What's your vibe? Tell me.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, firstly, it's going to depend on your business and your industry, first and foremost, on what you're doing. Something, like service-based businesses such as ours, where it is about connection and building relationships.
Yeah.
Then it is crucial. I still hate it. I don't like.
This is scandalous.
I don't. And because I've never been my personal social media. It's private. I don't post things very often. I started it so my nan could follow along when I was traveling.
I love that. Awesome.
I'm not one. Some people have a connection to it and they have, that, I guess, extroverted personality. They love connecting. They can do it online so easily. I don't, and you'll see, I'll pop up and I'll be like, I'm going to show up with lots of tips, and then I'll be 2 weeks later, I'll be like, oh, I'm back again.
But it's so funny because I know that you're saying that, and I obviously, you're on stories and you have no idea about time anymore. But I always think when you show up, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what's she saying? What's she doing? And I'm like, oh, I wish I was talking to camera like her. And so it's so funny that you're going, oh my God, I didn't do 2 weeks from the last story. And I'm just going, oh my God, cool. She's back. What's she saying? So I think that is actually an awesome lesson, because I think we kind of, as founders, we go, oh, I'm not showing up consistently enough, or I'm not doing this. But I'm like, the people that you're giving the value to are just going, oh my God, okay, I'm dialing in what she's saying today, because she always delivers value.
No, totally. And that's also something I've learned, because I think it was maybe the second year of business. So I was still that early stage. And so I had a lot more time because I wasn't as busy with client stuff. So I was showing up, and I was like messaging people and DMing and responding to things and reaching out to new accounts. And so, the Instagram account really grew then, and it was great.
Yeah.
But then I got busy. And so the third year, it was like, I don't literally have time to do any of this.
Yeah.
And I was really harsh on myself about like not showing up, and seeing other, competitors who were growing, consistently and showing up consistently. I was like, oh man, like I'm not doing that. God, like, man, I'm so shit at my job. I can't even.
Yeah.
It's like I can't even market myself. Oh my God. But then I realized, I was like, oh, actually, well, that's not my main channel that brings an inquiry. For me, it's SEO brings in lots of organic inquiry, and then word of mouth and the connections I build.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, actually, for me and my business, I don't need to be showing up every day or posting, multiple times. So then I've now built, a strategy that works for me. And, it's a few posts a week. We treat LMF like one of our clients now, and we plan out the content, we schedule it in. And now it's just, I know I need to jump on, but if I don't get the chance, well, that's fine, because I've got scheduled stuff just rolling out.
Yeah.
And when I do, then I do add value. So at least people know I'm not just jumping on for the sake of it and waffling.
But I think that's like the best point, because I think, when you do scroll through stories and you do watch the courses and the ads, and you're like, well, obviously I need to talk on stories every day if my business is going to be a success. And it's like exactly what we said. You're like, well, no, I actually know that SEO and this and this and this are the things that move my business forward. So if I show up on stories, excellent, I'm engaging with my community, it's happening, but it might not be the thing that actually drives leads and grows my business. I think we just get obsessed with what everyone else is doing and kind of forget about tracking and measuring what works for us as a business.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do on social media. And even the last, 6 months, well, even maybe a bit longer, but, with the rise of Reels and all these.
Oh my God, Reels, don't get me started.
you see it and you're like, oh, well, they're doing so well, and they're like, tens of thousands now, 100,000 followers. It's like, oh, I haven't done that. But then, I've heard, through the grapevine of some of those owners in their business, and it's like, oh, hang on, I'm actually making 4 times the amount of money they're making. And oh, okay, sweet.
I do 0 Reels. Okay. But it's so easy to get caught up in social media.
Yeah. And so now, like, I've actually, so I've got a time limit on my Instagram.
Oh, I like this. Yeah.
I've got, like, I do a screen detox. So 24 hours from Friday night till Saturday night, going offline completely.
Oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah. But it makes such a difference, because we just get sucked in and waste time and brain power on like such shit.
Yeah. Oh my God, totally. Well, it's like, it's funny. I think sometimes we go on for business, just got to check inbox messages, got to do this. And then it's like, I'm like, oh my God, 15 minutes passed and all I've been doing is watching stupid stories. Like, oh.
Yeah. And again, as you were saying before, that's why we don't necessarily need to be showing up all the time, because the time goes so fast. And so we're not really noticing how we're consuming it. And so like for me, it may be 2 weeks between stories, but for you, you're like, oh, Lauren's back again. Oh, sweet.
Totally. That's exactly how it is, by the way. I have no concept of time anymore. Oh, that's so good.
I think, yeah, we just need to be so conscious of social media in business, how we use it for ourselves, and maybe being like, is it the best channel? Do I need to focus my energy here? Because lots of, yeah, again, startups, I'll have inquiry calls with them. They're like, oh, I want you to do socials. And because we focus in, the health and wellness space, I know what works for them. And I say, don't do that. You should be doing Google marketing.
Yeah, totally.
And they just say, oh, really? It's like, yes, don't waste your time there. Use it as a fun tool for you to connect and show off your brand. But that's not going to be the lead generating channel for you. Google will be, for that business type. So yeah, you've got to understand your business, where your audience is, which channel is going to work best, and then try to, be conscious of social media, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, and I love that because you provide that as a service and are saying it's not right for everybody. So I actually love the honesty, because I think it's funny, even with I think about this with influencer marketing. Like everyone's like, if I just get that influencer with like 1 million followers, my entire business will be changed. And I'm like, no, please don't pay that influencer. Please don't give me your money to pay that influencer, because you are just wasting it. But it kind of makes me, I guess I want to ask the question. So we think about the startups and small businesses that might be contacting you, and you saying, no, that's not the right thing. Maybe you should consider understanding who your customers are, where they are online, other conversion channels. Because a lot of the people watching Spark TV are business owners and people either just starting out or kind of early stage in their business. And they're kind of going, oh my God, I don't know what to do with sales and marketing. Like, is there like a tip that you could provide for small business owners or startup owners in terms of maybe a little bit of self-reflection? So rather than, getting sucked into what all of their competitors are doing on social media, is there some fundamentals that, these startup businesses should be thinking about before they consider outsourcing any of their marketing?
Yeah, look, I mean, it does, again, industry business types will have an influence of which is best, but, a lot of startups are still really undervaluing the brand they're building.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and so they, feel like, oh, well, we'll just put that up, or we'll just do, a really basic logo, or, you can very much see it's crappy.
One of the team have jumped onto Canva and popped something together.
Exactly. And, it's, great intentions, because, you want to hustle, you want to do these things yourself, but you need to be thinking of like the way people engage online. It's such a crowded space.
Yeah.
And subpar brands don't stand out anymore. Yeah. Or if they do and they see results, they're usually having to do a lot of cost cutting. And so it's actually, again, it's inefficient and doesn't have that long-term sustainability behind it. So I think early stages, really look at how can you build your brand?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to mean you're spending thousands on, having an actual brand designed for you, but it's having that bit of consideration, being clear on your values. And then in those early stages, trying to build user-generated content, gather reviews as soon as possible. Because again, I have a lot of inquiry calls and they're like, oh, we want to start running Facebook ads, and maybe let's say skincare as an example. And they've got no social proof. They've got no reviews behind them. It's a beautiful product and it sounds really good, but that's not going to get any cut through in a crowded marketplace. You need that social proof. You need a foundation for your brand to then, build on it. So I think those early stages, just being conscious of that. And, there's so many great resources out there. There's so many people you can reach out to. There's small scale services to large scale, depending on your budget, but I feel you can't overlook it anymore. A few years ago, yes, not now.
Yeah, but I love what you kind of touched on there as well about building a community early, like a community of advocates, and review, like, so it sparked when you said reviews, and I was like, yeah, what about, so these new brands, how do you get in touch with your potential customer, and build that early community of people that love what you do, that are advocates of what you do, so that when you go to spending money, the people that you're targeting actually see that there are other people that love it. So I think community now is kind of really undervalued. People think that we have to go straight into ads, straight into reels, straight into everything, but like just connecting with the actual people who are going to buy your product and service is considerably undervalued.
Yeah, and it's so much easier than you realize. But again, it's something the business owner needs to have that real, take the responsibility for. And, again, as an example, a client of mine, incredible. And she's just always been so clear on her vision, what she wants to do, how she wants to help people. And so in the early stages, she did actually, not with me, but she did invest in paid ads and didn't see any results. It was thousands of dollars, just didn't get any traction. And I'd supported her with SEO with a previous business. So we were chatting again. It's like, well, what do we need to do? It's like, you need to do outreach. You need to get your face there. You need to build connections.
Yeah.
And so via Instagram, she just started reaching out to potential stockists and resellers.
Awesome.
She's now multi-six-figure business within 2 years.
Wow.
And maybe 2.5. So the first year, 6 months was just hard, no traction, minimal sales.
Yep.
And
yep.
Then from hustling and building those connections and getting her face behind it, that's what just catapulted it, and to put it on that trajectory. Yeah. And she's doing so well, but it's because she hustled and she put in and she built the connection, she built the community, she gathered the review, she got people talking about it.
That's cool.
And now the paid ad she is running, she's showing reviews, she's showing before and afters, and it sells so well.
Oh, and that's so cool. And it's like, I love also that you said, the first 6 months didn't really see a lot, because I think it's really easy to get disheartened as a business owner when you reach out to 10 people and no one replies. and I said this the other day, someone said to me, I reached out to 10 people and only one person replied. And I'm like, that's 10% conversion rate. That's actually good. So I'm like, reach out to 100 people, reach out to 1,000 people. I'm like, it's really interesting. I think it's so easy to like not kind of figure out how many people you need to reach out to and what volume of time before you kind of hit that tipping point of things actually snowballing and kind of working in your favor. So sometimes you do have to do that work.
Yeah, unfortunately. If things were easy, it'd be great, but we do have to hustle every so often.
Totally. And it's a good balance, I think. We kind of started the chat with, how do we bring a little bit more ease into our businesses and, design them in a way. And I think this is before we started recording, but, design our businesses in a way that we as founders are doing things that we love and not being burnt out and, really being considerate about the people that we bring in and our roles. But in the early days, there's a little bit of hustle that has to happen.
Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. But it's actually part of the journey, and there's almost, going through it, having that gratitude. And that's why, when everyone says celebrate the little moments and milestones, it's like, you really have to.
You really do.
Yeah. That first client, the first 10, the first, $2,000 in the business, the first 20,000, the first 50. It's like,
oh my God. When someone pays me $10, I like jump for joy. I'm like, that is amazing. Like, I swear I'm spending more on the wine than I am being paid on the $10 subscription, but that's okay. That is okay. Celebrating. I'm manifesting future sales.
But it's so true. It's so true. And it's easy to like slip into that lack of, again, I reached out to 10 and only one came back, and 9 didn't. It's like, hang on, one of them wanted to. Epic.
Oh my God, amazing. And it's like, and I love it. It's like, okay, well, why did that person reply? What is it about them? Were they a different industry? Were they a different role in the organization? Like, what was it? Like, go to the effort of analyzing why they replied so that you can tweak the next 10 that you reply to. Because what if it was like, oh my God, that was the one person that was a different role in the business. Let me try 10 people in that role. Oh my God, now 3 people out of the 10 replied to me. Like all of those little insights about your potential customer are so valuable.
Yeah. And this is the beauty and challenge of marketing, which so many people don't appreciate. You know, it's not just one, facet, or it's not just one equation to things. It's actually like you've got to have that creativity and that, kind of outside the box thinking, but you need to also drill down and make those connections and analyze what's been done. Like it's such a beautiful mix, but you have to have both of them working together to see it actually work.
Oh, totally. I love that. And so, okay, so we're talking about a little bit of hustle. So tell me, along the last few years of running your own business, have there been any challenges? Dumb question. So tell me, have there been any? So all of the people listening right now are probably either A, going through the same challenges that you've been through, or they're just about to take the leap and they don't know what's in front of them. Have there been a couple of challenges that you have faced that you have overcome that you might be able to say, look, you're about to face this, but here's how to handle it with a little bit of grace and a little bit of forgiveness of your own self, because everybody goes through it.
Oh my God, how do I pick just a couple?
Like, okay, no, clear everyone's schedule. We're here for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it really has been an absolute roller coaster. Like even I would say the first, I reckon 2.5 years, was still like, can I turn this into a viable business that will pay a decent income? Like it took time.
Yeah.
So there was lots of, I think even at one stage, I couldn't pay rent, and my partner at the time, he had to pay, and it was like, what am I doing?
Been there, don't worry. Yeah. I think it's a rite of passage almost. I think it's like if you have struggled to pay rent as a business owner, you know how much you've got to hustle and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Oh God, totally. But I think you probably actually, so yeah, there's probably two good ones. So one of them was, I guess the first big mistake on client projects, and that was when I was still doing the work, so it was on me.
Yeah.
And it was the website actually crashed. It was like we were changing like a record on the servers, so the website went down, and I was just like, oh my God,
I'm gonna die. Oh no.
It was like, when you're just like in tears and shaking, like, oh my God, like what have I done? But then it was just like, well, I've got to fix it. And so then, you're on the phone, and then I was in the back end doing stuff, and it was like different support chats, and we got it back online, and it was fine. And even though I told the client, oh, okay, this shouldn't have happened, I managed their kind of expectations around it all, and I just did what had to be done.
Yeah.
And even though it was one of those, sick in the stomach, like I have really screwed up, but then afterwards it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I screwed up, but I did fix it.
Oh my God, the world didn't end.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, okay, we're cool. Okay, I'm alive. The client's happy. Things are good. Okay.
But it's also like, I love what you said about telling the client, like the expectation management, but because it's also, I have this philosophy that best customers are customers that have experienced an issue and a problem. Because if you are super communicative, that can't be a word, but if you like show a bit of grace, if you tell them what's going on, if you own up to it, if you say, oh my God, we are dropping everything, you're the only person that matters right now, you can have a customer for life.
Yeah. Yeah. And they have been with me the entire time.
Yes.
You know,
That's so good.
that transparency is such a value of mine. And
Mm.
look, you know, you maybe sometimes you do need to sugarcoat and they don't need to know every single detail.
Absolutely. I don't know what you're talking about, but absolutely.
But, you know, it is saying, look, this is where we're at, but this is what we're doing. And
Yes.
this is when you can expect things to be back online. And because when people have that kind of safe space, they're like, okay, you know, they've got it. That's cool. I don't need to worry. So it's
Yeah.
just if you can create.
And that's it, because the last thing you want is them to notice that the website's down or that the issue has occurred and they don't hear from you. Like if you like get on top of things as quickly as possible, they know that they are the most important thing in your world right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think when you go through that and then you have that approach and you get through it, it's just, you know, because since then, of course, there's been more issues. Thankfully, nothing quite like that. But, you know, little things or errors. And, but then you just realize.
So something's always going to be a problem. Yeah.
But you realize you're like, oh, okay, these things unfortunately happen. That is literally humans.
Yes.
We are, you know, prone to these kinds of failures. So yeah, I think that's one of the big lessons, that it's going to happen, but you're going to be able to handle it and get through it. Which, you know, at first it's like, oh my God, I'm never going to recover from this. My business is a failure. I'm a failure. Oh, actually, I'm okay.
Oh, it's fine. How can we push these limits a little bit? No, I love that. I love that so much. And so on that note, so today we've talked a lot about change and growth and challenges. And that is going to be the story of every female founder on the planet. So let's end on how do you, in those moments, give yourself a little bit of grace? You know, what do you do in your home life, personal life, business life to say, okay, things are stressful, things are overwhelming. How do you kind of get out of that mode and reset? And I know it's different for everybody, so you know, not everyone's solution is going to resonate, but how do you manage it for yourself? And remember to center yourself and ground yourself. And what do you do to kind of make that happen so you can actually take the next step forward without getting trapped in the overwhelm?
Yeah, I mean, so I do a lot of things, but I also don't do any of them consistently. And I think this is something I've learned is actually almost a good thing, or it's okay, because I know we probably all see it, you know, your morning routine should be this to be successful, or you should meditate every day. Whereas, you know, I
do none of those things, don't worry. Damn it.
But like, you know, I do meditate and I journal and I do yoga and I do breath work and, you know, I go for walks and I do my Pilates, you know, I do all the things, but not every day.
Yeah.
But I just identify, and I'm very good at it now, of listening to my body, you know. So if I've done too much desk time, you know, my body is going to feel it. So I have to step away, and I've learned I have to look after that. Otherwise, you know, bad back, you're in bed for a week and not fun.
Yep. Yeah, totally.
But then, you know, mental health, I've just now got to a place where I've got really clear boundaries. And as I said, I don't work weekends. If I do, it's because I'm inspired and I actually, you know, it's more of a creative outlet than having to do the work.
Yeah, that's
Even
awesome.
though my to-do list is never ending. Like, I could work every weekend, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And yeah, then
like the Tim Tam packet. To-do lists are like the Tim Tam packet. That's what I've figured out this week. It's like the to-do list just keeps filling up. It's magic.
Yeah, you get to the end and you're like, oh, there's only one left. And then you like look back again, it's full. You're like, damn it.
Only they tasted as good as Tim Tams. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, so pretty much just being very mindful, having boundaries that I'm very good at sticking to them now, and lots of getting into nature for me, whatever that may be. Sometimes it's just literally going to the beach and sitting down if I'm too exhausted to have a walk. Other times it might be going for a hike. You know, so it doesn't always have to be the same thing, but it's just taking space from the business. is actually the most nourishing thing I can do for myself, so that I come back, as you say, and love Monday and want to be jumping back into it.
I love that so much, because I think there's so much pressure to have the morning routine, have the things, do them consistently. And it's like, well, if I didn't do yoga today, obviously my business is a failure. But it's like, no, like some days are going to be crazy and you've got deadlines and you've got launches and you've got things. And other days you're like, you know what? Nothing's going to catch on fire if I go for a walk for an hour. Just like capitalize on that, listen to your body, be self-aware. I love that so much. That's awesome.
Especially like women with hormones. We need to actually be easy on ourselves and be like, yeah, this week it ain't happening.
Totally. Today I am lying in bed all day.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I love this so much. You have been amazing. Lauren, thank you for spending your time with us and divulging all of your business secrets. We could not be more grateful.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me and for chatting.
Anytime.